And we are back after that little slight intermission, slight interruption, if you will. We are here at Hearsay, which is located inside Choctaw Stadium, formerly known as the Temple, right across from Globe Life Field. And this is where they play soccer, they play football. Of course, once they played the great game of baseball here. And that's what drew us out here back in the day. But that was then. This is now. We play baseball across the way there. We play on. We move on. That's it. This is your Dark Companion. I am Mike Rhyner, and Greggo is here with us. We've had a slight change in the cast. Shoopy had to abandon us like he always does. He got mad and left the way he always will. But look who is here now. Aww. It is our pal that we've had twice on the podcast. And we will have him again because I like this guy.
Anytime.
He has always got something. The great Pugs Moran. You heard him on the Pugs and Kelly show back in the day. And where can you be consumed now?
Every day at noon, talk radio for normal people, as I call it. Current events, lifestyle talk.
Ain't nothing normal about you.
Pugs and Company on YouTube, Facebook. We're an everyday live talk radio show available on YouTube and Facebook. Pugs and Company.
All right. We'll deal with you a little bit more.
I know,
in a minute.
I want Mr. Mayor.
But now, there is somebody else up here with us. Down to our left, we say hello to the mayor of Arlington, a man who holds a high position of power, a true political presence, the Honorable Jim Ross.
Be careful what you call me, okay?
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Y'all doing all right?
We are. Thank you for being here with us today.
Happy to be here. Yeah, it's my place. I got to be here.
Yep, it is your place. You do have to be here.
That's right.
So how are things in Arlington these days? Is everything going on the way they should, or
Brother,
are you running into any static or blowback or anything?
I always run into static and blowback, but if I didn't, I wouldn't be doing my job.
No, you wouldn't.
So everything's good. You know, we opened our Medal of Honor Museum here this last week. We had opening day yesterday. We didn't quite get that win out like we wanted to, but, you know, one game. One game. That's one thing that we know about. We've been to a few opening days out this way before. Sometimes they go your way, sometimes they don't. But you know what? You got game 2 coming right up. We got game 2 coming up. We got opening day with the Renegades coming tomorrow.
Okay. So you got all kinds of things happening out here.
All kinds of stuff. Good stuff.
What is the transition from what this place used to be to what it is now been like?
This used to be the old, you talking about this place we're in now?
No, I'm talking about the ballpark.
The ballpark.
The ballpark,
So
as we knew it, to what it is now.
So we were determined that we're going to keep this old ballpark alive. The exterior facade is gorgeous here. We don't want to take this thing down. So we're in the process of repurposing the ballpark. You'll see Lucchese Boots is getting ready to open up here on the west side, along with El Tiempo's open. There's a Starbucks there. This place is there. We have offices over on the southeast corner with Spark. And we have the Arlington Renegades and the UFL that plays here. Mm-hmm. We have North Texas Soccer that plays here. So we're continuing to find people and reasons to keep this place alive.
I love that you did that because the thought,
I do too.
The thought of tearing this thing down was just so sad to me. That it was going to happen. But then, you know, I guess had some short thinking. I'm thinking, well, there's no way they can keep 2 stadiums. But it seems like that Arlington, as they have forever, always finds a way to make things work.
We're going to make it work. We call ourselves the Can-Do City. So here we're going to do it.
Well, I remember there was a time that, getting a GM plant in Arlington, Texas, that was a pipe dream. And ever since then, it's been the same thing. And the thought of tearing this thing down, that would have been one of the saddest sights I've ever seen, just tearing it down. But you guys have done a magnificent job, and like you said, repurposing the place.
Yeah.
And, that is what goes on in other cities.
Yeah.
Other cities build new ballparks, they tear the old one down.
That's exactly right.
And I'm telling you right now, this is a great place to watch a concert.
Oh, it's
I've been to a couple concerts here.
It's
and
phenomenal.
Great.
It's phenomenal. And we're not done yet. So just, hold on and watch what happens here in the ballpark.
Well, what else are you going to do, Mayor?
Well, I can't tell you.
Yes, you
now.
can.
That was a teaser.
Hey, look, this is a podcast.
That was a teaser.
This is not radio. This is not TV. This is a little podcast.
Oh, yeah. Ain't nobody
This is
listening
Little
to your
Dear Dark
damn
Companion.
podcast. I know, yeah. It's safe to say we always have some irons in the fire here. So you could tell everything's happening around here with the Medal of Honor Museum opening up. New convention center, the Lowe's hotels. Lowe's is building another hotel, I can tell you that. We're about to take down the Sheraton this year and put a brand new Lowe's hotel, 550 rooms over there next to the Arlington Museum of Art. It's going to be gorgeous.
Well, they always said that, that this could be, I never believed it. I never believed that Arlington with a baseball team could be a destination place. I always thought it was going to be commuter. You drive in for the game, you drive out. But, boy, I was wrong on that. I mean, what you've done here, people are actually, when I came in earlier, because I went to the museum today, the Medal of Honor Museum, and there were people already here for the game tonight.
Yeah.
You're just kind of hanging around the shops and everything.
Yeah.
I never thought I'd see that.
It's unbelievable. But I'll tell you, it all started from the old boy mayor, Tommy Vandergriff. No mayor that's been here since then, myself included, can hold a candle to that man. He's the one that brought GM here, Six Flags here, the Rangers here. He went to Washington, D.C., and took some team from Washington, D.C. called the Senators and brought them here 53 years ago, and they've been here ever since.
We love that guy, man. We had him on our show several times.
We did.
There is no
great.
Was no better mayor, is no better mayor than Tommy Vandergriff.
But, you have a guy like that, and he does what he does and does all these great things. And then a lot of the time, the guys who succeed him don't really follow up. And you have. And probably those who might have come between you and him have too.
Yeah.
You guys have just kept that train going, man.
We got to keep it going. And I do it for his legacy, for what he started here. He was a visionary before his time, and I'm just proud to be able to serve for a few years here and do the best we can. So we got a lot of fun things happening here.
So you were Arlington cop. You were a Marine.
I was a Marine.
Number one. And then you became an attorney.
Yeah.
And then you became a restaurateur. Why the hell would you want to be mayor?
Yeah.
Why the heck would you want to get in that rat race?
There's a weird story. So went from a Marine to a cop to a trial lawyer to a restaurateur to mayor. But we had COVID happen here. I have a son that's 35 years old, and my son has cerebral palsy. He's short and crooked. And he told me throughout his life, Dad, I'm going to be an actor. And I would say, son, listen, let's work on plan B, because being an actor is a tough job for able-bodied people. But you're short and crooked. How are you going to do this? Well, I'll be damned. During COVID, if he didn't audition on Zoom for a role that was going to be on a streaming show. That role is now one of the main characters on one of the most popular shows on TV that's been picked up by Netflix and Paramount and everybody else, called The Chosen, about the life of Christ.
Yep.
He signed a 7-year deal with Netflix that has set him for life. And it opened the door for him to be on every episode of 1883 and Black Panther 2 and everything else like that. But he didn't get the confidence from his old man. He didn't get the courage from his old man. He didn't get that drive from me because I was the one telling him, you need to work on plan B. He got it from the community here. He went to Theater Arlington, and they gave him the confidence. He went to the Creative Arts Theater, and they gave him the confidence. He did Casa Mañana, and they gave him the confidence. He went to Lamar High School here in Arlington, and they gave him the confidence. So it wasn't me that did it. It was this community that did it. And when I had to shut my restaurant down during COVID, it was this community that came back and said, we got you. I have a fine dining restaurant 9 floors up. I couldn't do curbside service. This community rallies behind you and says, we got you. So when they do what they did for my son, when they do what they did for my businesses, it seems only natural that I give a little bit something back. And that's why I decided during COVID that I'm going to turn and run for this.
Mr. Mayor, I have a question for you. I'm fascinated with projections and demographics here in North Texas, and I'm sure you've seen the 2050 projections that say, maybe overly optimistic, but North Texas could grow to be the largest metropolitan area in the entire United States. And with Dallas and Fort Worth and what we see coming out of Frisco and certainly Arlington, where do you see Arlington's role in that foot race?
Yeah, it's pretty exciting because I think what you're going to see here in the next 5 or 10 years is the DFWA Metroplex. Did you get that?
Got
DFWA.
it. I see what you did there. Yeah.
The DFWA Metroplex is going to surpass Chicago as the third largest metropolitan area in the United States. L.A. and New York will still be larger than that, and you're going to have to go some to beat New York. I don't ever see that happening. But the growth of North Texas is really coming mainly, it's going some north of Dallas as well, but mainly that growth is coming into Tarrant and Parker County to the west of the Metroplex. We're landlocked, Arlington is. Mm-hmm. People don't realize Arlington is bigger than Pittsburgh, St. Louis, New Orleans, Tampa. We're bigger than all of those other large metropolitan cities.
By land.
By population. Arlington has over 400,000 people in it. And we're bigger than all of those other cities, population and land-wise. So we're sort of landlocked where we are. We're going to have a growth. We'll probably get close to 500,000, but we're not going to get much bigger than that. But where we are is in the heart of the Metroplex. We're 15 minutes from the DFW airport that no other city can claim, no other big city can claim that they're that close. We're right here in the heart of everything. And if you're looking at North Texas, as a lot of businesses are, and you're looking at building and growing and bringing your business here, you're going to be looking to this area because this is exactly where you want to be. You want to be close to the airport. You want to be where all the action is. You want to be able to get to all the fun, all the shopping, all the restaurants. You want to get to all of that. And we got a lot going on right here. So we're excited about it. You know, we bring more people to Arlington than Dallas and Fort Worth combined for tourism. That's a lot of people. Nearly 19 million people a year come to Arlington for tourism. And think about all the concerts, all the Six Flags, Hurricane Harbor, football, baseball, women's basketball, you name it, it's all here.
What is the number one thing, and that's quite a list right there. What is the number one thing that you use as a selling point for Arlington when you're trying to attract a new business?
Yeah. So
the number one thing, I mean, is it the cost of living? Is it the no state income tax?
So in my mind, there's a very simple formula for attracting good business here. They look for 3 things. They want to make sure the community is safe, and our community is one of the safest ones around. You're going to see a decrease in crime overall, about 17-18%, a decrease in violent crime by 27% year after year. I mean, we're cutting this stuff tremendously. They're going to look and want to make sure that your schools are good so their employees can send their their kids to good schools. And here I started what's called the Mayor's Education Coalition, where for the first time in the state's history, we brought together private schools with public schools, with charter schools, with homeschooling. We put everybody together and say, let's stop this competing with each other. Let's start working together to come up with good reasons to do good things for our kids. But the third thing, and one of the most important things, is businesses want to know how your community treats each other. And in Arlington, we are the most diverse community in the entire state of Texas. We're the fourth most diverse community in the country. And that diversity is a huge sense of strength for us. It brings people together more than driving them apart. Because we have the residents that we don't care what you look like, who you worship, who you love, what's going on. All we care about is how you treat each other. And when businesses see a community that really understands that relationships matter, you can't keep them away.
How do you foster that, though? How do you do that? How do you go out and get people to be neighborly? Because, quite frankly, society seems to be going the other way.
Yeah, it does. But here's what I'll tell you. Back in the 60s, Dr. Martin Luther King told us that the only thing strong enough to overcome hate is love. That's the only thing strong enough. Hate doesn't beat hate. So what we tell people is simply this. If you go, let me give you an example. I've had the opportunity to meet all these living Medal of Honor recipients here. And you ask these recipients, what caused you to do the heroic feats that you did? What caused you to have courage or tenacity or strength? What caused you to fight the battles that you fought and to get through what you got through? They will all tell you the same damn thing.
They don't know.
No. They'll say it's love. Love of the people they served with, love of their family, love of their God, love of everything. So the way I look at this is love. I'm a former Marine. I'm a cop. I've taught martial arts forever. I'm 225 pounds, and people think, I'm very comfortable with saying, I love you, brother. I'm okay with that. I'm a 64-year-old white heterosexual Christian man. I don't know what it's like to be black, to be a woman, to be gay, to be Muslim, to be any of these things. So I created advisory councils so I could sit down monthly with Muslims and blacks and Latinos and LGBTQ and say, what can I do to help your part of the community? And when you do that, they go, holy crap, someone's actually listening and they want to do something. And you start to see a shift in how they deal with others as a result of that. So that's one of the things that we do to help foster those type of relationships is we'll do a Hispanic Heritage Month celebration out at the Levitt Pavilion. We'll do a Juneteenth celebration, an Asian Heritage Month celebration. We'll do all of that. And when we bring people together, a good example, we did an Asian Heritage Month. And a young 10-year-old black boy comes up to me and he goes, Mayor, look what I got. And he holds a little cup out that has marshmallows, it has crackers, jelly beans, and stuff like that. And I looked at it and I said, well, that's cool. I said, but how did you get those? He goes, I picked all these up with chopsticks. Want to see? And I said, yeah, let me see. And he dumps them out and he takes out a pair of chopsticks because he just learned how to use them. And he started picking up these things. Where does a little kid like that get that type of cultural experience if you don't create an environment that allows it? Those things make a difference. And if people don't think they do, then they can kiss my ass.
All right.
And I still love them, but they can still kiss my ass. Can I say that on your podcast?
Oh, yeah. Anything goes here.
Especially if you're a mayor, you can say
Yeah.
that.
All right.
So everybody, all politicians wish they had a magic wand for just one item that they just can't seem to get under control. What's your magic wand item? What's one thing that is bothering you about this city that you wish you could wave your magic wand and make it disappear?
One thing bothering me about the city, I'm comfortable with where our city is. There's something that bothers me about politicians, and that's
The fact they're breathing?
Yeah, that's one of the things. I wish politicians, whether it's on a local, state, or federal level, would just shut the hell up and do their job and stop complaining about it's the other side that's causing all the problems. There's all this finger pointing and the excuses. It's the Republicans. It's the Democrats. It's this. That's why I won't call myself any particular party.
Yeah, you are not. You won under nonpartisan.
I'm one nonpartisan, and I won't call myself any particular party because I think the vast majority of us live between the 20-yard lines. And the problem we have in this country is we let those fringes in the red zone run stuff. And we don't need to be letting them run stuff. We need to get back to where the rest of us, that we are within arm's reach of each other, can control things.
The vast majority is neither fish nor fowl.
I wish more people felt
That's
like
right.
that.
You
Because right now, I'd rather be a member of the Donner Party than the Republican or the Democrat.
I won't call myself either one, and I think we're all tired of the crap. We're tired of it. Do your damn job. That's all we're asking. Y'all do your job when you go to work. Politicians need to do their job instead of blaming everybody else for it.
You ever get any blowback by being, neither fish nor fowl like that?
Oh, all the time. The far right says I'm liberal as hell. The far left says I'm conservative as hell. I get it all the time. I don't really care. I'm never going to do anything other than be a mayor, and then I'll go back to playing with my grandkids and running my businesses and trying cases again with my daughter and stuff. I'll go back to making money like I used to. I don't make any money being a mayor now. I'll go back to
almost told on yourself there.
I don't know, like I used to.
It's almost as if being pragmatic is just a dirty word these days.
It is.
You can't be pragmatic.
And you can't use the C word, and the C word is compromise. And that's one of the big problems that you have with politicians is they feel like you can't come to a compromise. Back in the day, some of us are old enough to remember Ronald Reagan and Tip O'Neill having a disagreement, and they'll go behind closed doors, drink a scotch, and come out with a compromise and move the country forward.
The thing that bothers me about politics more than anything is the performance of it. I keep going back to and I remember watching this as a kid, a scene in The Godfather 2, where they had the senator in there with Michael Corleone.
Yeah.
And boy, he was talking about the Corleone family, how great they were, and everything was wonderful. And they got in there in that office and shut the door. And he said, "You are a scumbag," and just unloaded on it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's not really how it happens, but it is.
It is.
And then he goes right out and says, "Oh, yeah," just smiling. I'm like, it doesn't happen like that, but it does.
It does.
And on a regular basis. And I really feel like that I don't know if we're there yet, but I think we're getting to a tipping point where people are just tired of it.
We're tired of it.
Just tired of it and say, you know what? If you want to go over there and you want to, get a 9-panel, together on some cable news show and argue about something, go ahead. But we're going to solve problems over here.
Yeah.
Just the performative of it.
Yeah. It's sickening.
It's clear that you're running a can-do city here.
Yeah. We try.
Yep.
We try. We're not perfect, but we try.
You succeed.
Yeah.
Hey, one thing I was wondering, what about your Escalades here and the new tariffs?
Oh, jeez, man! Why you want to make my blood pressure go up? So I was on. I'm not gonna give the radio. It was a national radio show this morning, and I don't know how many emails as a result of it. But here's the reality. I wish we could snap our fingers and everything be made in the United States, but it ain't gonna happen. You want to implement tariffs and cost people $10,000, $12,000, $15,000 more per vehicle because of tariffs, it's going to take 10 to 20 years before you're able to transition everything to be made in America, because it's not happening. Auto parts are put together in other countries. Then they're shipped here. Some of them are put together further here and shipped back to be assembled further.
That's so ridiculous.
We're talking tariffs being paid coming and going from both places. And the tariffs, let me tell you, tariffs aren't paid by China or Mexico or Canada or the United States or whoever. The tariffs are paid by you and I. We are the ones who pay for the damn tariffs.
Right. They're not taking the loss. They're passing it on to us.
Passing it on. You and I will be paying. So look at the Texas, and it's not just tariffs. Immigration is a big issue. I think everybody can agree immigration has been screwed up for decades. Neither Republicans nor Democrats have ever fixed immigration. Let's be honest, they haven't. But now what's happening with just rounding everybody up is 65% of the workforce here in Texas for construction workers are immigrants. And now half of that workforce doesn't show up to work. So when they don't show up for work, what happens to that project? It's delayed. What happens when you delay a project? The cost of the project increases. And it's just a ripple effect that one thing happens to another after another after another. So whether it's tariffs, whether it's immigration, whether it's DEI stuff, let me tell you what happened the week before we opened the Medal of Honor Museum. The Department of Defense removed Medal of Honor recipients of color from the Department of Defense website because of DEI crap. Now, I'm a Marine. That pisses me the hell off. When I was in the Marine Corps, I did not care if the man standing next to me was black or Hispanic or Asian or gay or straight. I don't care. What I cared about was, did he have my back the way I had his back? And when you have to go through so many hoops to get a Medal of Honor award. These are not DEI hoops. One of the gentlemen whose name was removed from the Department of Defense website received his award in 1942, long before any of the DEI crap came along. How do you do that? How do you treat that? When we opened the Medal of Honor Museum, do you know how many military leaders were here? 0. Do you know how many cabinet members were here? 0. Do you know whether or not the vice president came? No.
Well, why is that?
Do you know where the president was? He was at a damn wrestling match.
What reason did
Indiana,
they give for this?
They didn't give any reason. They just didn't come. These are the men and women who had the highest award in military history. Only 3,500 men and women since the Civil War received the Medal of Honor. Only 61 are living, and about 40 of them were here Saturday night. Not one damn leader in the military, not one cabinet member, not the Secretary of the Department of Defense. Nobody showed up for those men that were here Saturday night.
Proving once again they talk a great game.
That's right. The only one that came was President Bush. George W. Bush was here.
And it's kind of convenient.
It's kind of convenient.
but it speaks great.
I would argue that President Bush would have came if it was in Alaska.
Of course.
Because he has some character.
He's that kind of guy.
That's right.
Mr. Mayor, thank you very much. This has been wonderful.
Thank y'all.
Listening to you and what you have to say. And
hear a lot of good things about you.
I'm right there with you on most of it.
Well, I appreciate it. And you're going to get with me on the rest of it, because I ain't going to let you leave here until you agree with me on everything, because that's what real politicians do.
That is what real politicians do. He is the mayor of Arlington, the great Jim Ross, with us here on Your Dark Companion.
And all that, and you got a great joint here, you know?
That's pretty good.
You got a great little lounge.
You got to keep your shoes on and everything in here. We're that fancy.
Yeah, that's right. You do have to keep your shoes on.
All right,
Thanks,
guys.
Mayor.
Thank you,
Appreciate
sir. There he is, Jim Ross. the mayor of Arlington. All right, let's see, Greggo, what do you want to do? You got more items up here?
Talk about the mayor.
Oh, take a little break?
Oh, we got to take a break.
Okay, all right, let's take a little break. You're listening to the Your Dark Companion podcast. We're out here at Hearsay in Arlington, part of Choctaw Stadium, hard by Globe Life Field. Wherever you go to watch baseball, you need to come in here, stop by Hearsay, and check it out. We'll be right back.